Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back. I never filmed a formal introduction, but I'm just gonna give you guys like a really quick summary, I guess, of what I'm gonna do so you know what's going on, because I don't think I actually talk in the video until about halfway through the project, which is quite some time. But I just like I worked on it not in the house. I worked on a lot of it like outside while I was working, so like I just never filmed myself like talking at all, or I would film at night and I would be really tired, so I wouldn't really want to talk that much. But in any case, I got yarn from Hobby for a campaign like half a year ago now. I think I finished the sweater like literal months ago, and I decided to make a sweater for my little sister, a Snoopy sweater, because she really likes Snoopy. And I also kind of go through it as a guide, so it's not a pattern, it's not a tutorial, it's more of a guide on how to make a very basic sweater that has a crew neck, drop shoulders, slightly tapered sleeve with like a little bit puff on the cuff. But you'll kind of see what I'm talking about when you actually see the process and everything. I mean, you probably already know what it looks like because it's in the preview, it's in the thumbnail, but I thought it would be a good idea to kind of touch base with you guys, because I literally didn't talk for a very long time, which honestly understandable because I was tired. But yeah, hopefully this helps you if you've been wanting to make a sweater like this but you don't really know how to go about it, because I take you pretty much step by step, including making a gauge swatch and then how to make sure that the sweater fits you and everything. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Alright, so last night I actually finished the Snoopy graph and it looks kind of bad right now, as you can see over here. But once I block it and then kind of just secure some of the ends over here, like sometimes what I do is I just pull on the floats, or sometimes I cut them and I like tie in a different way, and it works fine for me. I know it sounds bad, but it works fine for me. So I'm just gonna fix this. It looks kind of wonky, but it's fine. But yeah, I actually surprisingly was able to finish knitting up to the place where the neck starts. So this is around 8 inches, and then the neck is going to be 3 inches tall, and then the armhole will be 11 inches in total. But I'm going to taper the sleeve so it won't be that big in the end. But yeah, this part is really easy. So my needles, or this front panel is kind of big on my needles, so you won't be able to see it that well. But basically what you do when you want to make the neck, and I'm basically making a crew neck, is number one, you want to leave at least like around 3 inches in length. That's just personally how big I like my necks to be, like how the depth of it, but I usually do 3 inches, so I stop at 3. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna measure in the center how wide you want the neckline to be. So because you're gonna want to decrease a little bit so the neckline kind of has this U shape for the crew neck, I'm actually gonna start off with 1 or 1.5 inches shorter on both sides, and then gradually decrease so that the width of it is exactly the width that I want. And it sounds really complicated when I say it right now, but if you make more sweaters, or if you just read a pattern in general, you will totally understand what I'm talking about, and I'll kind of show you my process as well. But yeah, I think the neckline, when I measured it, it was around 10 inches if I'm not wrong. So I'm basically gonna make it 10 inches, and because I'm gonna decrease about 1 inch or 1.5 inches on each side, I'm gonna start with, let's say if I decrease one on both sides, I'm gonna start with 8 inches, 8-inch neck, decrease or until it is 10 inches, stop decreasing, knit the rest. Or you can do a calculation to see how much you should decrease each row so that it's like a perfect decrease. It just depends on what you like. I personally don't care, and it looks fine either way, so I usually just decrease once every row, or once every other row. So like in the right side, you're going to decrease once on each side. On the wrong side, you're not going to decrease at all. You're just going to purl all your stitches. But yeah, when you do split for the collar, you're going to work one side first. So since my yarn is connected on this side, I'm going to work this right part first all the way up, and then I'm going to work the left side afterwards. And I like to leave all the stitches in the center unworked, and when you pick up the stitches to make the neck after you finish the back panel, it'll make your life so much easier. And I will also show you kind of like how I do it. Again, it's kind of hard without a pattern if you're not familiar with how to make sweaters, but if you've made them before, then you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I'm just gonna measure everything, make sure the stitches are equal on both sides before I start splitting for the collar, and then we're gonna basically do that. Alright, so I just finished the back panel, so as you can see I knitted it up. I didn't really count my rows because I'm way too lazy for that, so I just matched it up. If it matches up, then it's good, it's fine, and honestly it doesn't matter too much. And so as you can see, I have all these open stitches that I haven't bound off yet. And so what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to do the 3 needle bind off for the shoulder seams. And after I do the 3 needle bind off, I'm going to make the collar and then I'll make the sleeves. Once you're done with the 3 needle bind off, your bind off edge should be pretty neat like this. This is why I really like it. And then you're gonna have the neckline to do next. And so now what I'm gonna do is, do you see how I have these needles still attached to this back? I'm going to attach my yarn by knitting all of these stitches in the back, starting from here, picking up stitches on this side right here. I'm gonna pick up every 3 stitches and then skip the 4th one. Over here, I'm gonna knit every single stitch on the front over here, and then again, just like on this side, I'm gonna pick up 3 stitches, skip the 4th, pick up 3 stitches, skip the 4th until I meet this part right here. And after I'm done with that, then I can actually get started on my 2x2 ribbing for the neckline. have not really been updating on the sleeve like at all, but that's okay because I feel like the sleeve is usually the easiest to do. I'm doing a tapered sleeve much like this one. And so if you flip this back, you can see that it kind of has the same taper. It's a very subtle taper. I tapered every 3 to 4-ish rows. I didn't really count it. I just kind of did it based on how it looked. And when I make the other sleeve, I'm actually just going to count up how many decreases I have and just make sure that it's the same. And then once I reached this part, I decreased by a few more stitches. Well, not a few. I decreased by 16 to kind of give it like a little scrunched up look, because this one also has a bit of a scrunched up look. I'm basically making it exactly the same. And then I switched to small cords. And by the way, if you do not have a small cord set, I kind of highly recommend doing it, because using the magic loop method can be really annoying, and it actually makes a huge difference on like the enjoyability of like knitting that cuff. So just saying, just putting it out there. I switched from this cord, this longer cord, to this really itty bitty tiny cord, and if you look at the difference, it's very stark. It's like half the size, and the needle itself is very short, which makes it very easy to knit that end part. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna knit the ribbing, about 10 rows, 2x2 rib, and then I'm going to bind off and then work on the rest of the sweater, which is the other sleeve, and then I'm basically done. Okay, so it has been a hot second since I actually finished this sweater, and I feel like this happens to me a lot because I have a lot of stuff going on, so I just always forget to like film the outro, and I forget to film the process sometimes as well too, but it's okay. I do my best, it's fine. But I guess since this is the segment where I kind of give you all like my thoughts on the entire thing and like what I liked and what I disliked about it, is in general it was good. It was very smooth sailing because I have made sweaters in this way before, you know, just the classic drop shoulder sweater where usually you have the bottom, so you make the bottom in the round and then you split for the front and the back, you make the collar and then the sleeves, and then voila, it's kind of like done. So in general it was very smooth sailing. Now there are 2 things that I do have to fix, and it is very fixable, so I'm not too worried about it. But for this sweater, I took the measurements from a sweater that my little sister has, because I made this for her. However, and I do have to have her try this on just to make sure, but I feel like the collar is a little bit too, it's a little bit too big. It's more of that wider collar, so if you like wider collars, which I like wider collars, so this is fine for me. I have to have her try it on and see if she's fine with it. It is wider. Now I can't really at this point undo it anymore because yeah, but what I was thinking is inserting a really thin elastic through this top part and this just kind of like cinching it a little bit. And I've seen people do that before with other sweaters, just to make it lay more on the neck or the chest area rather than it kind of falling forward and like facing out like that, if you kind of get the visual. So that's what I might do if she wants the collar to be less wide. The second thing is pretty obvious, but I am not the best at knitting color works. But as you can see, okay, so the middle part right here with baby Snoopy, this part is perfect. Like, I'm actually very impressed because like I said, I'm not very good at it. But these side parts, do you see how there's so much pulling and like gaping over here? Let me just put it right in front of your face. Do you see that? Like all of this and stuff? I have to fix that. Like that is like a note. I'm not gonna leave it like this. Like I'm gonna have to go in. I'm gonna do some, I don't think I did Intarsi over here. Do you see these holes over here? Like, I think I just totally forgot to twist my yarn strands together, and that's why there's a little hole, but it's not a big problem. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with yarn, and I'm either gonna duplicate stitch, or I'm going to do this thing where it's kind of hard to explain, but it's where I kind of tug on some of the floats, and then if it's long enough and it's like too long but like long enough for me to like tie it and stuff, what I do is I cut it and then I tie it tighter, and it has worked perfectly fine for other projects. Basically, the bottom line is, I know I yapped a lot, but I'm gonna fix all those little holes, all those little pulls and stuff, and then this will be ready to wear. But yeah, in general, I really like how this turned out. I'm very impressed that I was able to finish it in the speed that I did finish it, because I thought it was gonna take me a while, because as you can see, it's a very oversized sweater that is drop shoulder, so you know there's no raglan. So I literally was just knitting a square, and I don't really like repetitive like stuff. It kind of gets a little boring for knitting. For crochet I'm fine with it, but for knitting it kind of gets a little boring, like when you're just doing stockinette, right? But it was good, and there's just 2 things that I need to fix, and I do want to fix it like soon. I'm a procrastinator. I think it's pretty obvious if you couldn't already tell from, you know, other things, but I'm a procrastinator. I have not really been working on a lot of projects lately because of how preoccupied I am with other things. But yeah, overall, a really nice relaxing project, not one that I had to really use my brain on, which is very nice once in a while, because sometimes I get really tired with like the logistics and things, and like when I'm designing things sometimes that are complicated, like my brain is like, ugh, especially with all the calculations. So this was nice. It was a nice change. I like to make gifts for people. It makes me really happy. But yeah, thank you so much for watching all the way up to this point, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.